Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here, back with more, nostalgia gaming. And, so this is kind of a cheat. Bootleg sampler. This was a sample CD that came with the Sega Saturn. This is one of the ones that came with the Sega Saturn, I should say. I think there were 2 or 3 bootleg samplers. This is the one that I got. And this actually is 2 games that I sat here and I played the demo of Clockwork Knight 2 and watched the video from Mysteria probably 200 to 300 times. I'm not even exaggerating. We'll start with the video of Mysteria, because that's something I can just, talk over. This is one of those, I saw it's sword and sorcery, it's RPG. I was instantly in love with it. I had no idea what was going on. The graphics seem a little because it's really early CGI. Like, the fingers don't move. I talk a lot about that. I did a Let's Play of this game because it's a very interesting tactical RPG. But this video, this was a new way for me to get hyped about games. You could do demos now on CD-based consoles, and this isn't even the full opening to the game, but it was just, a minute-long video, and it got me more hyped than any news article I had ever read, period, about a game. I knew nothing about it, but just the music and the visuals. More than enough to get me worked up. And seeing as how the year that I got the Sega Saturn, this came with the 3 free games, so I only had this demo disc and 3 games, which at the time, being kind of a picky gamer, I wasn't really interested in Virtua Cop because I didn't have a light gun to go with it, so I mean, I could play with a controller. I didn't really care about fighting games as much. I sucked at 2D fighting games, so I figured I'd suck at 3D fighting games. And racing games were just kind of boring to me. I mean, eventually I started playing them and loving them, like, ridiculous. Like, I just sat there and played Daytona USA for, like, a day solid when I was a kid. So it's one of those things that it grows on you. But in the beginning, it's like I would play them and I wasn't as attached, but I popped in this demo disc and it's like this is so worth the price of admission. Like, you get videos, music, that promote games, and then you get, in this case, you get demos of the games. This is the one of the hidden movies in Clockwork Knight 2. Basically showing off all of the characters, and then you get the first level of the game. And that Christmas, I probably spent more time playing this demo disc to start than any of the games that came with the console. And it wasn't until several months later that I ended up getting a couple of games for my birthday for the Saturn. So I had a couple of months where this was it. This was the bulk of what I had in terms of entertainment, was this demo, and it really gave me a different way of thinking about how I could educate myself about what I would end up spending my money on in the future. Alright, jump. I want jump to be A, attack to be B. I don't think I can do that. Yeah, that's... yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing now. B, C... Run, attack, and hold are all the same button. That's not good. Let's see. Let's do jump as A, attack is B, run. Okay, that works. That's how you do it. Anyway, so I played this game, and I remember I invited my old friend over to my house right after that Christmas. They came to visit us in the new house. It's the same friend that I played Donkey Kong Country with, my next door neighbor, and came to see me at the new house right after Christmas, and he's like, "Oh, you got a Sega Saturn." Like, and I showed him this, and he wasn't as interested in the games, but he loved the concept, I should say, how to introduce people to things. Like, we knew you couldn't have demos on a cartridge, because cartridges were expensive regardless. Like, even if they could put, 3 or 4, demos on a cartridge, you're still having to produce the cartridge, and that wasn't cheap. So it was one of those, you're still kind of at an impasse in terms of how to show off your product. You either had to have a TV show dedicated to it, but even then, you couldn't play the games yourself. You could only watch someone play it. And I'm a firm believer in this, being a Let's Player, that watching a game is nowhere near the same as playing the game yourself. And I'm sorry, I thoroughly enjoy both, but they are not the same sensation. And so I was kind of amazed that this was a thing. I didn't expect that this. I didn't expect that this would be a way for me to think about how I would end up spending my money in the future. But that Christmas, that's all I was thinking of. I had already planned out, like, second I see Mysteria on shelves, that is what I'm spending my money on. For my birthday, I was getting Clockwork Knight. And sure enough, that was how I planned everything out. I had now figured out that this was how to budget my future income toward my now newest and, most favorite money sink. It's like, I was starting to get to the point where it's like, I have a summer job, I have, an allowance, I've got money that I can save up. It used to be I would just wait for, some sort of hype machine to give me basically the information that I wanted to know. But now, I could start looking to the future myself. Like, okay, well, let me go out and get a demo disc and see what's worth spending my money on this week. Is there anything worth spending my money on this week? And that was it. And I just didn't look back. I know a lot of people today say that demos kind of hurt the game industry because, once you've played the game, you get what you want out of the game. But like, the demo's not the full game. There's always going to be something else, something more to explore in the game. And in the case of Clockwork Knight, this first level, it's extensive, but there's so much more to the game that if all you do is play the demo, that you're never going to see. And I just don't understand how people can say, oh, I've got everything I wanted out of Clockwork Knight, I'm done. And that be it. It's the same with any demo. Anytime I download a demo, all it does is encourage me one way or another to figure out what I'm spending my money on. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't say, oh, well, I played the demo, so that's good enough for me. I don't need to play the rest of the game. And it all came from this. This one demo disc kind of changed how I could view future purchases. And even the games itself made me think, well, there's more to games than I thought possible, because there's, you know, all sorts of hidden secrets like the Le Bon race and things that are hidden in these giant levels that you couldn't do in previous games. And then I could go back and watch, you know, a movie of another upcoming game that, hey, maybe I'd like this game even more. It started to influence purchasing decisions, which, you know, as an upcoming, you know, consumer, getting into the point where I started having disposable income of my own, that's what you have to focus on, is that's the way to attract your target market. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen this screen because of this. All I did was watch those movies and play these games for the longest time. Another game on here, the World Series Baseball, all that's available on there is the Home Run Derby. And I would play that day in and day out with one of my closest friends and one of my oldest friends, Darkseith, who I did Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks with. That is how we passed our summers. Literally, just playing Home Run Derby. All because of a demo disc. And this demo disc, and the concept of demos and demo discs, made me realize that I now have another tool to figure out what I want to play. And I will never forget that Christmas, just sitting here thinking, I now already know what I want next Christmas, because it's not out yet. It's just giving me a preview of what's coming, and now I'm sold. So yeah, that has been this episode of my Gaming Nostalgia tour. Again, let me know what games or things had a huge impact on you as a gamer. And again, see if you can take a stab at what the next title's going to be. Like I said, this one was kind of a cheat because, you know, it's basically showing off 2 games. But it was this disc, this particular program, that had a huge effect on me that Christmas. So I'll see you guys in the next installment. Till then, later everyone.